I'm Jane Boal. Coming up on Chicago's Very Own, we'll meet two former foster children.
They also confirmed that this accident is still under investigation.
We're going to find out how they're not only staying hopeful during her treatments, but how they're staying connected to family. For helping busy families enjoy healthy and almost home-cooked meals.
Family and friends chose not to talk on camera today about Juan. Two separate neighbors did say off camera, however.
If you know of an ordinary person who's doing something extraordinary to impact the lives of others, we'd like you to let us know about them.
Imagine watching your child, a young man on a high school football field, living life to its fullest, his whole life before him.
I was like 17 years old, I had a cool job, was playing football and all that.
Until one split second, everything changed. 4.5 years ago, the Camosa family was turned upside down when during a high school football practice, Robert Camosa suffered a severe spinal cord injury. He was left completely paralyzed from the chin down.
It's also called Hangman's fracture, so that's why it's rare, because most people don't survive that type of injury.
After the October 6, 1999 accident, Camosa had a lot of help from the community, family, and friends. Since then, Camosa has lost his nursing care, which means his mother is responsible for keeping him alive.
So hard. So hard.
I'm standing in Robert's bathroom. This is where his mother Barbara sleeps. In addition to getting up every night, every 2 hours for routine care, when Rob's ventilator machine beeps, she has 10 seconds to get into this room, assess the situation, and fix it all within 15 seconds.
Because he, after he got immunosuppression, after 15, he lose control. And sometimes at 30 seconds, he can die. Yeah.
Rob's 5'4" mother actually manages to move her 220-pound son. 24 hours a day, she's on call as homemaker, nurse, and mom, making sure all life support systems are in place so she doesn't lose him.
Like you love somebody, you have to make it. You're doing everything the best. I lose him.
She sort of had to been forced to do it, because otherwise I'd be laying in bed all day. So she sort of had to find a way to do it by herself.
Rob needs nurses to help his mom, that's for sure.
Deacon Don Grossnickel also stepped in and has been a great help for Rob and his family. But he says Rob's mom desperately needs help, and Rob can't go on to college as he dreams to without nursing support.
So Rob and his mom are not just prisoners of his bedroom in this house, because Rob basically can't even get out of the house without a nurse, because mom drives and someone has to be there to attend to Rob.
Robert Camosa says his mom is an unsung hero. For every minute of every day, she works to take loving care of him.
Definitely my mom, because if I didn't have her, she could just send me away to a nursing home, but she keeps me around. I don't know why, but she still keeps me around, so it's kind of cool.
Despite the fact that she's physically and emotionally and spiritually, kind of a wreck, she rises above all that, and so that he will be strong.
I have to make for him happy,
Jane Boal, WGN News.
This helicopter smashed into a house this morning, killing the pilot and one passenger in a residential subdivision in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
The two people in the helicopter, a male and a female, were deceased on the scene.
The family of 5 who were asleep in the home at 6930 97th Avenue were not injured. 2 adults and 3 children escaped without harm after the aircraft struck the roof, left a hole in the back, and ripped off part of the facade. Kenosha police say it's a good thing the crash didn't happen during school hours. The Charles W. Nash Elementary School is on the same block.
It would have been a Monday morning or a couple hundred yards that way, and we'd have a real compounded tragedy in our hands.
Helicopters flying over the Whitecap subdivision today were an eerie reminder of the sounds heard by neighbors before the explosion. Many speculate dense fog early this morning played a big part in the wreck. Barb Hale was awake and says the helicopter sounded like it was sputtering and having trouble. On the scene, she saw the aircraft on fire in the yard and neighbors evacuating their homes.
You heard the
I was
sound.
walking outside and I heard it, yeah.
And you thought?
It didn't sound right, and I thought this helicopter is going to crash.
The helicopter was a Robinson R-44 aircraft like the one you see here. It was registered to Midwestern Air Services of Kenosha, a helicopter charter company operating from the Kenosha Airport, which is also only a few miles away. Now, National Transportation Safety Board investigators are working to figure out what went wrong.
Three major things: the pilot, his background, the weather that was occurring at the time, and the aircraft.
The NTSB confirms that this is, in fact, as you see behind me, the tail cone or the very end of the aircraft you see lying in the front yard, which is directly across the street from the original accident. They also confirm that this accident is still under investigation. It'll take about a week to answer more questions. From Kenosha, Wisconsin, Jane Boal, WGN News.
A lot of times I have used my car as a hotel room.
At first glance, Percy Harrell looks like your average employee at O'Hare Airport. He works for American Airlines. He cleans airplanes.
100 nights in my car.
What many don't know is what he does in his free time. At least 100 times each year, he spends the night in his car. It allows him to work double shifts to save extra money. Then he travels to Africa to feed kids living in orphanages. His friend and minister, George Willis.
He takes a lot of his income and just gives it to the kids.
The kids have been abandoned by their parents because they have AIDS. Percy and coworker friends also from American Airlines have been attempting to improve the quality of life where death from disease is imminent.
So I had heard that in Africa in general, it's about 2 million that die a year.
When the children die, they're buried here in the backyard. Many also have lost their parents to the AIDS epidemic. It's said these kids are actually lucky to be here where hospitals look like tied-together shacks. At least they'll get some food and medicine versus fending for themselves on the streets in one of the world's largest slums.
We came these 8,000 miles to let these children know that we love you and that we care about you.
For the past 9 years, Percy has organized and inspired about 15 to 20 other people to go to Kenya. Rick Gillies and Eros Villaraza have both joined the Kenya mission.
And to hear their voices when they sing, I mean, believe it or not, for me, that was like heaven on earth. It was awesome.
They hug, pray, and serve the kids high-quality food prepared by local hotels. The children want to give a gift of thanks, so they sing. Since many in Africa are still uneducated about how AIDS is spread, it's the hugs that bring the children to tears.
They was moved by the fact that we was able to embrace the children. You do not have to be rich, famous, or popular to make a difference in the world. All you have to do is care.
After working overtime for the past 9 years, Percy says he's also spent about $20,000 of his own income, all to feed the children in Kenya. For Chicago's very own, I'm Jane Boal.